Incredible moment. Single dad discovers life-changing talent as daughter's chess move leaves so speechless. James wiped the sweat from his brow, a greasy rag in hand. As the sounds of his garage metal crunching, occasional grunts filled the air like a symphony of hard work. The familiar scent of motor oil mixed with the salty tang of sweat, a reminder of the long hours he toiled under the flickering light bulb. But today, the clamor of engines was replaced with an eerie silence, the kind that only falls just before something life-altering happens. As he hunched over a stubborn engine block, a voice broke through the monotony. "Daddy, can we practice chess now?" He turned to find Lily, his 10-year-old daughter, her face lit with a childlike enthusiasm that could melt the hardest steel. Her bright eyes sparkled like the trophies she had lined up on the kitchen shelf. "Just a minute, sweetheart," he replied, masking the fatigue. The weekend ritual of chess at their kitchen table was an oasis in his otherwise chaotic life. Every moment shared over those black and white squares fortified their bond. Each laugh breathed love into the heavy air. They often found themselves struggling. As James closed up the garage for the day, a weight hung over him. He worried about providing for Lily and the bright future he hoped she'd chase without the burden of their financial struggles. Mere days away from the local community chess tournament, he felt a mix of pride and panic. Should he shield her from the harsh glare of competition, the world outside their small bubble? The way society often measured people by wealth rather than merit twisted in his gut like a tightening wrench. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As tournament day arrived, the community center buzzed with excitement. A cacophony of voices mingled with clattering chess pieces. When Lily's first match began, James felt a mix of anxiety and hope. Every move she made was a pulse of pride mixed with the dread of what was to come. Her eyes flicked across the board with a talent both mesmerizing and unnerving, each decisive play echoing against the backdrop of eager spectators. The finals arrived, and tensions reached fever pitch. There they were, Lily and another boy, both on the brink of victory. Just as the crowd held its breath, Lily executed a bold and controversial move, unlike anything anyone had seen before. Gasps filled the room, followed by whispers: unfair advantage, privilege, skill. As the murmurs swirled, James felt resentment boiling in his chest. Suddenly, from the back of the crowd, a local CO stood, eyes blazing. That move was a fluke, he shouted, pointing a finger at Lily, challenging the values he had instilled in her. Anger surged through James. How dare he belittle everything Lily had worked for? He stepped forward, heart racing, prepared to defend his daughter, love simmering with defiance. This was more than chess. It was a battle of ideals. The value of hard-earned talent faced off against unjust societal norms. As he confronted the CEO, the room shifted, caught between loyalty and meritocracy. The stakes were high, the air thick with tension. Here they stood, a father and daughter at a crossroads, where innocence met the harsh reality of ambition. Would the community embrace Lily for her skill or punish her for her associations? The moment hung in the air, pregnant with expectation, a turning point that could change everything for both of them. James felt the weight of every eye in the room now fixed on him, the silence amplifying the thrum of his heartbeat. He raised his chin, driven by a fierce instinct to protect his daughter. "It wasn't a fluke," he called out, voice steady but full of conviction. "Every child deserves the opportunity to express their talents, irrespective of their background." The crowd stirred uneasily, caught in the push and pull of the moment. Lily glanced at her father, her young face a mix of confusion and concern. He could see she was struggling to understand why someone would attack her passion. She had trained hard, spent countless evenings analyzing games, practicing strategies while he watched with pride. "Dad, don't," she whispered, pushing her knight forward as if it could physically block her father from stepping into the fray. James felt a rush of desperation as he faced the CEO. "You think just because you have power and wealth, It gives you the right to undermine a child's effort? He fired back, disbelief flooding through him. The bold move Lily had played wasn't just a stroke of luck. It reflected everything they had worked for together. The CEO adjusted his posture, eyes narrowing, caught off guard by James's unexpected resolve. A murmur rippled through the audience, a shift in allegiance as whispers of support began to circulate among them. It was clear that this was no longer just about a chess match. It was about a father standing up for his daughter against the endless tide of judgment. There's skill in every decision she makes, and it comes down to the heart she puts into each move, James continued, motioning toward Lily. Her expression shifted from fear to determination, emboldened by her father's words. In that moment of fury, a new alliance forged itself between them, one built on trust and shared dreams. Taking a deep breath, James stepped back, the crowd's mood transforming. He could feel the undercurrents of admiration swell around him. People shifted, leaning in to capture the small girl at the center of it all. You can't dismiss her brilliance just because it challenges your perspective. The CEO, thwarted, faltered for a moment. Standing there in the spotlight, his authority crumbled slightly. Fine, but what happens next will determine everything. It's up to the judges, he declared, his voice tinged with condescension but lacking the same fire as before. The adjudicator nodded, signaling the match to restart. James turned to Lily. Her eyes sparkled, unwavering, a reflection of the determination that had come alive between them. You've got this, kiddo, he encouraged, a smile breaking through his tension. Just play your game. With the weight of expectant gazes still lingering, Lily took a seat, focusing intently on her opponent. Each piece laid down now felt like a war cry, echoing their defiance against stereotypes and injustice. The tension in the room became electric. What would happen next? Would Lily's talent shine through, or would outside pressures smother her potential like a dark cloud? The tension grew thicker, as if every person in the room stood on the edge of a cliff, eyes fixed on the board. And then, as the crowd leaned in closer, breathless with anticipation, Lily's hand hovered over her queen, transforming the game once again. Would this bold move define not just her game, but their whole future? As James held his breath, the stakes began to climb toward an unseen climax. Lily's heart raced as she studied the board, each piece representing a testament to her hard work. The stakes were impossibly high, and she could taste the tang of nervous energy in the air as her small hand hovered above her queen. The watchful eyes of the audience seemed to amplify the silence, hanging on her next decision. Just breathe, she whispered to herself, channeling every lesson her father had taught her. Focus on the game. It wasn't just about winning, it was about giving her all. She glanced at her father, and their eyes locked. James, with his steady gaze and proud smile, gave her an unspoken reminder that this moment was theirs to own. She nodded, a spark of determination igniting within her. As if on cue, she swiped her hand down, placing the queen in an assertive move. Check. Lily's voice rang through the room, loud and clear. The word echoed like a bell, slicing through the tension. Gasps filled the audience, a current of shock rolling through them. The CEO's eyes widened in disbelief as he scrambled to see the threat on the board. Lily's move had been bold and unexpected, leaving him scrambling for answers, much like a chess piece under siege. She's a child, he stammered, glancing around as if seeking validation. This is absurd. But the crowd shifted again, the murmurs now laced with approval. Lily's confidence radiated outward, pulling the audience into an unexpected alliance. It was no longer a spectacle, it was a revelation. James's heart swelled as he watched his daughter command the board. This wasn't just a game of chess, it was a statement. It symbolized defiance against the discrimination she faced, an assertion of her rightful place at the table. He felt tears threatening to spill over, tears of pride, tears of relief, and above all, tears of joy for his daughter who was reclaiming her narrative. The adjudicators exchanged glances, caught up in the whirlwind of emotions, and their eyes glimmered with newfound respect for the young player. Slowly, some began to nod in acknowledgement of Lily's brilliance. Who has to say what a child can achieve? One of them quietly whispered, breaking the ice on a conversation that everyone inevitably felt in their hearts. But just as hope began to bloom in the atmosphere, the CEO erupted. This is nonsense. You're all going to regret this. Mark my words. His voice resonated with anger, fueled by a fear of disqualification, a prospect that had seemed impossible only moments ago. Lily felt a tremor run through her, but her resolve only grew stronger. The noise around her began to fade, replaced by the determined rhythm of her own heartbeat. She knew each move counted. She could sense the sparkling potential of victory on the horizon. With poised determination, she navigated her next moves, the pieces flowing under her expert grip. The crowd leaned in, breaths held like the ticking seconds of an imminent storm. Keep going, sweetheart, James urged, his voice a lifeline anchoring her to the moment. Lily could feel the eyes upon her, yet somehow, she felt liberated. Each move was a testament of hard work and dedication, the culmination of sleepless nights and shared dreams at the kitchen table. And still, a lingering question lingered. Could this moment transform not just her game, but the landscape of their lives forever? As the match reached a crescendo, the air thick with adrenaline and hope, it became clear that something monumental was unfolding. Would she finish strong against the odds? And what would come of the confrontation between her raw talent and the fading power of the CEO? The crowd held its breath. The moment had arrived. The atmosphere crackled with anticipation as Lily shifted her focus back to the board. Time felt suspended, and she knew she had to stay sharp. Each movement carried the weight of every moment leading up to this. As she pondered her next move, her hands trembled slightly, but not from fear. This was adrenaline. She surveyed the pieces before her. The board reflected the chaos of the world around her. Her opponent's king was cornered, and she needed to capitalize on that vulnerability. Concentrate. Just one more move. You can do this, she whispered again, almost as if trying to convince herself. The murmurs from the audience intensified, bubbling with excitement and disbelief. Can she really do this? Someone gasped. The question felt heavier than the light air of uncertainty. It was almost palpable. Lily could feel the piercing looks of awe and skepticism blend together, creating a mosaic of emotions that enveloped her like a comforting blanket. She liked that feeling like she belonged. James could hardly breathe. His heart raced with each passing moment. He saw the fire in Lily's eyes, a flicker of determination shining brighter than before. This wasn't just about chess. It felt like his daughter was igniting a revolution in that dimly lit room. At that moment, he understood that she was fighting for more than just the win. She was fighting for recognition, respect, and a future where being young and female didn't define her limits. Suddenly, Lily's eyes flicked toward her father, catching his approving nod. That was all she needed. His belief mirrored her strength. She felt a rush of warmth coursing through her veins, the fear slowly dissolving into fierce resolve. Returning her gaze to the board, she saw it clearly, an opportunity blooming before her. With a deep breath, she found the perfect angle. She moved her rook with deliberate clarity, sliding it across the board. Checkmate, she declared, her voice cutting through the swirling air. It felt solid, striking like a hammer on an anvil. The room went silent, the stunned expressions of disbelief transforming into a chorus of gasps and scattered applause. Even the CEO seemed momentarily stunned, the bravado drained from his face. The adjudicators looked at each other, grappling with the reality of what just unfolded. Look at her, someone murmured, and another voice chimed in, incredible. She is not just a child. James fought back tears, pride swelling in his chest. The world had just shifted. He could feel it in his bones. His daughter standing tall, a shining beacon of defiance and faith. But then, the CEO erupted again, this time louder. She cheated. This isn't over. I will enough, interrupted one of the adjudicators, the command cutting through the noise. The match is finished. You can't take this away from her. This is a victory for all who dare to dream. The applause began to grow, wave after wave, washing over them until it became deafening. Lily stood there, bewildered but lit up with joy, her heart hammering in her chest. She glanced at her father, who beamed like a proud sunflower. Their moment had transformed from a challenge to a celebration. Yet amidst the victorious atmosphere, another thought nagged at her mind. Had she truly made a statement, or was this only the beginning? As she absorbed the applause, Lily couldn't help but wonder what her victory might spark in others. Would her actions ripple through the world? As the noise of excitement filled the room, Lily felt a shift. She was more than just a chess player. She was a symbol now. But what would come next? How would they navigate this newfound attention? And who would continue to stand by her side in the battle beyond the chessboard? Before she could ponder further, the CEO approached, a thunderous look still etched across his face. "You think this is over?" He sneered, a threat lingering in his eyes. "Here we go," Lily thought. As the excitement morphed into uncertainty, the next challenge awaited, and it was time to prepare for whatever might come. The atmosphere shifted as the CO's glare bore down on Lily, a mixture of fury and disbelief simmering in his eyes. She stood her ground, heart racing but resolute. This wasn't just a game anymore. It was a declaration, and she felt the weight of that realization. White noise surrounded her, the crowd blending into an indistinct hum as she locked onto the CEO's words, "This isn't over." He dismissed the applause like it was nothing more than a distraction. "I'll see to it that your little victory is reversed. You don't belong here." A chill rushed through her, but Lily met his gaze, refusing to let his words sink in. She glanced at James, who nodded firmly, a silent anchor amidst the storm. The surge of support wrapped around her once again, igniting her spirit. This was her moment, not just for herself, but for every girl who had ever felt overlooked. "Watch me," Lily thought fiercely. "Your grievances are noted." One of the adjudicators intervened, his voice steady. "However, this has been adjudged fair and square. If you have further objections, we'll allow you to submit them through official channels." Lily couldn't help the flicker of satisfaction that ran through her. Winning felt amazing. Her dad's pride and the audience's excitement were victories in themselves. But the CEO's threats hung heavy in the air, threatening to overshadow it all. She wondered how deep his influence stretched and what battle lay ahead. "I'm sure you're just a sore loser," Lily said, trying to sound confident. The audience gasped collectively, her words daring, yet she felt a twinge of excitement ripple through her. Standing up for herself felt empowering. A last flicker against the dark storm brewing above, the CO's jaw clenched. "You think you're special? I've crushed bigger dreams than yours." James stepped forward. "You don't know her. She's just getting started." There was fire in his voice, fueled by a father's unwavering belief, and Lily felt that heat lift her chest. She took a deep breath, letting the moment settle around her. Let them come, she thought, determination bubbling within. This was what she had always wanted, a chance to prove her worth, to show up not just for herself, but as a member of a generation that refused to be silenced. As they left the stage, she could sense eyes on her. Some were filled with admiration, while others alight with jealousy and disbelief. It was both thrilling and terrifying. With each step, the weight of her victory settled deeper, intertwining with the fear of what lay ahead. In that moment, Lily realized that fame could be a double-edged sword. Would this newfound visibility help her still stand tall? Would she become a target or an inspiration? Questions buzzed in her mind, weaving into her thoughts like a chaotic chess game where every move might cost her dearly. Driving home, the car felt heavy with unspoken tension. James, ever the supportive figure, broke the silence. "You're more than just that game, Lily. You've sparked something bigger than you know. This could change everything." She peered out the window, watching the streets whiz by, captivated yet anxious. But what if I'm not ready for what comes next? It was a sudden vulnerability that slipped out, a question she desperately wanted to take back. James turned his gaze toward her, sincerity etched into his features. "You are ready. We'll face it together. Just remember, the world has to change to catch up with you." As they drove into the warm glow of their neighborhood, a thrilling fear coursed through her. What future awaited her? As they stepped onto the porch, Lily could almost feel history cracking open, uncertain yet wide with opportunity. And just then, her phone buzzed like a rattlesnake, a notification lighting up the screen. Curious and fearful, she hesitated before opening it, sensing that what lay behind it could alter everything. Lily stared at her phone, heart pounding like a drum. The notification glowed against the darkness, its unexpected brightness a sharp contrast to the uncertainty swirling in her mind. She swallowed, feeling a rush of anxiety and anticipation sift through her. What if it's bad news? She thought. What if it's something I'm not ready to handle? "Open it," James urged, his voice steady yet encouraging. He stood next to her, the weight of his presence acting like a shield against the darkness lurking behind her thoughts. With trembling fingers, she tapped the screen. The article headline jumped out at her. Incredible moment. Single dad discovers life-changing talent as daughter's chess move leaves CEO speechless. Her heart raced. They had captured the chaos of the night, the triumph of her moment, but with it came the flood of new fears. Would she still be seen as the girl who made an enemy of a powerful CEO? Would she be stripped of her victory in the eyes of the media? Suddenly, the air felt charged, as if every breath was electrified with expectation. She scrolled through the article, her eyes darting over the words that described her fearless play, her defiance, and her father's unwavering support. Laughter bubbled in her chest as she read snippets of the crowd's reaction, how they cheered for her every calculated move on that stage. Even the voices of women in the audience echoed, inspired by her boldness. She whispered to herself, barely able to comprehend the words. "See," James said, the corners of his mouth lifting into a proud smile. "You've ignited something. This isn't just about you anymore, Lily." She looked up at him, a new realization dawning on her. This wasn't just her battle, it was a movement. Every girl who felt invisible, every parent who wanted their child to soar, every dreamer seeking the courage to stand up. She felt their hearts beating in rhythm with hers, pulsing hope into her veins. But then a shot of cold dread hit her. What will the CEO do? He won't take this lying down. Her voice trembled, as a shadow clouded her joy. "Let him try," James said, a fire lighting his eyes. "You have the people behind you now. Don't let his threats overshadow your moment. Embrace it." That simple truth pierced through her fears. The glow of her success shone slightly brighter, igniting the courage deep within. "You're right," she replied, her voice firmer. It was like lifting a weight from her chest. Before she could dwell too long on the impending storm, her phone buzzed again, this time with a direct message from an unfamiliar account. She hesitated. What if it was from the CEO or someone affiliated with him? "Who is it?" James leaned in, curiosity sparkling in his eyes. "It's a social media influencer," she said slowly, confusion drawing her brows together. "They're offering to feature me, promote a story about my journey about the game." "What?" James exclaimed, excitement rushing into his voice. "That's huge. This could give you an even bigger platform." Lily felt a mix of exhilaration and dread wash over her. "But what do I say? What if I'm not prepared for this? What if they twist my story?" "Tell your truth," he encouraged, placing a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "You have a powerful voice. Use it." His support reassured her, but uncertainty still lurked in her thoughts. Just then, a rush of determination surged within her. Maybe she wasn't just ready to face this. She was ready to own it. With a deep breath, she typed out a quick response, a wave of bold excitement flowing through her as she hit send. But unknown to her, as she sealed her fate with that simple click, a storm was brewing. The CEO watched from afar, fury boiling, as he plotted to reclaim his power and silence this rising star. Just as the door creaked and her mother walked in, a new wave of tension flooded the room. "Lily, have you seen the news?" "What news?" Her mother's expression twisted into something serious, a look that sent ice down Lily's spine. The truth of what was unraveling was about to hit harder than she could ever expect. What would this news reveal? Was it more powerful than her triumph tonight? The answer was waiting just around the corner. Lily's heart thudded against her ribs like a frantic drum as she looked into her mother's eyes. The gravity of her mother's expression sent her thoughts spiraling. "What news?" Lily repeated, her voice barely above a whisper. "Turn on the TV," her mother urged, urgency tight in her voice. "You need to see this for yourself." Needing no further prodding, Lily rushed to the small living room, her legs feeling weighted with uncertainty. James followed closely, his presence anchoring her. The familiar hum of the television flickered to life, casting a cold light in the dim room. News anchors appeared, faces serious as they reported on the repercussions of her chess match, the match that had turned her world upside down. As she watched, dread shrouded her. "Developing story," one anchor stated, the tone ominous. "Controversy surrounds local teen chess prodigy." Lily's stomach twisted. The words rushed by, but she couldn't focus on them. Instead, she saw images from the tournament. Herself, hair tousled, eyes intense, in the moment of her decisive move. Then, the camera cut to the CEO, eyebrows pinched, looming like a dark storm cloud. "He's not just a CEO, he's an empire," James whispered, what sounded like concern etched around his eyes. "Because of me," she murmured, a wave of panic rising in her chest. The news continued, a turmoil of opinions and speculation filling the air. "There have been threats made against Lily Johnson and those who have supported her," the anchor reported, underscoring the civil turbulence her win had instigated. "Threats?" Lily gasped, her breath hitching. Was she really worth that much trouble? "Stay calm," her mother said, eyes flooded with worry. "This is what they do to deflect." "But how? How can I be a target?" Lily shot back, frustration bubbling inside her. "It's not about you," her mom replied softly, quickly darting her eyes back to the screen. "It's about the message you've sent." Lily swallowed hard as the anchor spoke again, the words blending into a fog of fear and disbelief. "It's just chess," she muttered, shaking her head as if she could dismiss the chaos unfolding around her. But she knew deep down it was never just chess anymore. It was about breaking barriers, challenging norms, and sparking a war no one could have predicted. James stepped forward, determination igniting his voice. "Lily, remember what we talked about. Lean into your truth. Lean into your power. You need to be the voice that stands tall through this." Lily looked up at him, a rush of warmth flowing through her. His reassurance was a lifeline. But the facts were tumbling in. The CEO was rallying his forces like an army on the brink of a siege. His face, tinged with rage, cast an even longer shadow. What would she do next? Would embracing her journey put those she loved in danger? Whispers filled her mind, what if it backfired? But James was right, her voice mattered. Can we fight this?" she asked, unsure of herself. "Of course," her mother said firmly, squeezing Lily's hand. "But first, you need to focus. You've started something much bigger than yourself." Lily took a deep breath, the fear swirling to agitation. Yet somewhere in the depths of her, something sparked. A flicker of resolve ignited, and Lily realized she was at a crossroads. A knock on the door scattered her thoughts. Who could that be? Feeling exposed, Lily glanced at James, who gave her a nod of encouragement. "I think we should see who it is." As her mother walked cautiously to the door, Lily's heart raced. The storm was brewing, and she could either hide or face it head-on. She made her choice, and what waited on the other side of that door could change everything. Would it be an ally or an enemy? The stakes just got higher. The door creaked open, and Lily's breath caught. A figure stood in the doorway, silhouetted against the bright porch light. It was a woman, tall and imposing, who seemed to command the very space around her. Her dark coat flared slightly as she stepped into the living room. "Are you Lily Johnson?" the woman asked, her voice firm yet oddly melodic. Lily nodded, unsure whether to feel threatened or intrigued. James positioned himself slightly in front of her, a protective stance ready to defend but not confront. "I'm Agent Harper," the woman introduced herself, flashing a badge that glinted ominously in the dim light. "I work with the local authorities." "Why are you here?" Lily's heart raced faster. An FBI agent? Did it have to do with the threats mentioned on television? The stakes felt impossibly high now, and an unshakable fear washed over her. "We need to talk to you about what has been happening since your chess match," Agent Harper said, her expression unreadable. "Your situation is more significant than you realize. We can provide protection if necessary." "Protection?" Lily repeated, glancing at her mother, who was now fidgeting with her hands. "What do you mean?" "The threats against you and your family are serious. People are coming out of the woodwork. The CEO's empire isn't just about business. It's personal for him. Losing to a teenager didn't sit well." Harper stepped inside, her heels clicking on the floor. "And I'd like to help you navigate this." James's breath seemed to freeze. "You mean there are actual people behind those threats? Like real plans?" "Yes," Agent Harper confirmed, her gaze having narrowed to focus on Lily. "You need to understand how to wield your voice and your power, but for now, you need to stay safe." Lily's mind was racing, grappling with the reality of her situation. She felt dizzy as she processed the words. All she wanted was to play chess, to express herself, to prove she could win. But now this? What should I do? She found herself asking, her voice steady despite the turmoil inside her. Harper smiled ever so slightly, then leaned in closer, her voice lowering. We need to set up a security plan to ensure your safety at school and home. But you also need to prepare yourself mentally. This fight won't just be about strategy on the board. Lily's eyes flicked back to James, his concern mingled with pride. I'll be right here with you, every step of the way, he reassured her softly, but she saw the glint of fear in his eyes. I didn't ask for any of this, she breathed, the weight of it pressing down. I just wanted to be me. Agent Harper took a step back, observing her closely. And that's exactly why you're a target. For so long, people have tried to suppress voices like yours. When they see someone like you rising up, it feels like a threat to everything they've built. You have to embrace it and be ready for the battle ahead. Lily felt a spark of resolve deep within. Embracing her voice might bring danger, but it also drew allies in unexpected places. What if I can't handle it? She whispered, vulnerability creeping in. James squeezed her shoulder gently. You've already handled so much, Lily. You can face this too. Remember, it's not just about chess. It's about standing tall, showing them you are not afraid. A sudden flood of noise erupted from the television, jarring them back to reality. The anchor was shouting something about protests and public outcry. What now? Lily asked, glancing at Agent Harper, who was already reaching for her phone. We prepare, Harper said, her eyes laser-focused. And we bring in reinforcements. You need a voice and I have ideas on how to amplify that. As Lily's phone buzzed on the table, a knot of anxiety twisted in her stomach. She picked it up, glancing at the screen. A message flickered ominously. We know who you are, and we will come for you. The warmth of her earlier resolve was fleeting, replaced by a cold rush of fear. Who sent that? Lily whispered, staring at the screen in shock. Agent Harper's face hardened. It's time for you to find out what you're truly made of. With questions swirling and danger looming large, Lily braced herself for a confrontation she never sought, but now had to face head-on. Would she rise or crumble under the weight of the storm? The air buzzed with tension, and the fight was far from over. Lily's heart hammered in her chest as she looked from her phone's screen to Agent Harper. The weight of the message felt suffocating. She swallowed hard, her mind racing. Why would someone threaten her? She was just a kid who played chess. Who would want to hurt me? The question trembled on her lips. Agent Harper stepped forward, her expression softening slightly. It's not you, Lily. It's what you've become. Your victory was a catalyst. It shook something inside people who thrive on control. They fear what they can't understand. James pulled Lily closer, his body guarding her like a fortress. We can't let them intimidate you, Lily, he said, his voice steady but low. We'll figure this out together. The room felt smaller as the tension enveloped them. Agent Harper's presence was a mix of authority and urgency. Listen closely, both of you. We must get in front of this. We're going to need to increase security immediately. I'll coordinate with local law enforcement and prepare a safe route for Lily when she goes to school. Lily felt a wave of frustration. But this isn't fair. I just want to be a kid and play chess. Why is it all about power and control? James nodded in agreement, anger flickering in his eyes. You shouldn't have to live like this. You're just trying to do something you love. Agent Harper regarded them with a serious look. I wish that was true, but your chess match opened up old wounds for those who have power. They see your talent, and instead of encouragement, they lash out. She paused, taking a breath before continuing. But you have a chance to change the narrative. It's not just their game anymore, it can be yours. Lily felt a mix of fear and determination surfacing inside her. How? By taking control of your story. Harper stepped back, crossing her arms as she scrutinized Lily. Your game can be more than just a competition. You can use your voice, your talent, as an anchor. Give the world another reason to pay attention. Lily's mind buzzed with possibilities. You mean I could use the media? Talk to people? Yes. You don't have to fight alone. Harper nodded, her approval evident. We can set up press conferences, interviews, and community outreach. You can show them what you're capable of not just with a chessboard, but as a young individual who stands her ground. The idea sparked something in Lily. Her fingers twitched as she traced patterns against her phone case. Maybe it was time to fight back, not just for herself, but for all those who might be inspired by her story. Okay, she said slowly, a whisper of resolve threading through her voice. I'm in. Agent Harper smiled slightly, a glint of admiration evident in her eyes. Let us get to work then. Suddenly, the air in the room shifted. A surge of unity formed between them, stronger than the fear that had been holding Lily hostage just moments before. She could feel the swell of fire building within her, a beckoning to rise above the chaos. The television continued to blare news of protests outside, the chatter of discontent spilling into their sacred space. Life as they knew it was teetering on the edge of something monumental. As the three of them strategized on how to move forward, the space grew electric with anticipation. There would be strength in community, in facing the storm together, and Lily felt herself become lighter, more resolute. But as days turned into intense planning sessions, and news of escalating threats swirled around them, the stakes would only rise higher. The battle was far from over, and soon she would need to come face to face with those who sought to undermine her. What will happen next? Lily wondered, and as she began to lift her own voice, she realized, sometimes, it's the moment you stand up that reveals who you really are. Lily stood at the front of the crowded community center, her heart racing as the crowd's chatter drowned out her thoughts. The weight of their eyes felt heavy on her, but she clutched the microphone tightly, her palms slightly sweaty. This was the moment she had been preparing for, her first public address about the storm that had descended on her life since that fateful chess match. "Thank you all for coming," she began, a mixture of nerves and determination flooding her voice. "I know things have been crazy since I won the tournament, and many of you saw how my victory was questioned. You might have heard the threats and the negativity being tossed around." As she looked across the faces before her, she caught sight of her dad, his proud smile grounding her. James beamed, his heart swelling with pride. His little girl had transformed from a timid chess player to an outspoken leader, standing against injustice. It was a sight that made his heart swell. All those nights spent over the chessboard, the lessons shared had culminated into this very moment. Mightier than any piece on a board, she was ready to take notice of the world around her. "What I want you to know is that chess isn't just a game for me," Lily continued, her voice gaining strength. "For me, it's about strategy, about believing in yourself and your talent regardless of where you come from." The crowd nodded, understanding washing over them like a wave, and she could feel their support amplifying her spirit. A murmur rose, shoulders lifted in solidarity, people recognizing the power in her words. "My journey isn't just my own. It belongs to everyone who feels small or overlooked, pushed down by the weight of someone else's idea of what we can achieve. I believe we all have a talent waiting to shine through every girl, every boy, everyone ready to grasp their dreams." The room erupted into applause, but Lily pressed on, seizing the momentum. "We've got to stand together. We have to lift each other up, because it's not only about the chessboard now. It's about smashing through barriers, about disrupting the norms that say who we should be. We're not alone in this fight." As she spoke, she glanced at the corner where Agent Harper stood, a reassuring nod encouraging Lily to keep going. "I refuse to let anyone overshadow the power of my voice or the voices of those around me. I am Lily Johnson, a chess player, a kid full of dreams, and I will not back down." The applause surged, louder this time, a roar of support echoing back at her with thunderous conviction. James's heart raced, flooded with relief. In that moment, she wasn't just his daughter. She was a beacon of hope, an inspiration igniting the future. "Whatever the CEO wants to do, he can't silence us. He may have power, but we have unity," she proclaimed, her cheeks flushing with adrenaline as eyes glimmered with admiration. "Let us show him that our community is stronger than his empire. We're here to support each other, to say that our voices matter, every single one of us." Suddenly, a voice in the back shouted, "We've got your back, Lily." She smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude for the newfound sense of belonging. As the claps echoed, she felt invincible. Yes, this was just the beginning. She would keep her chessboard tactics close, but now, it was about strategy in everyday life. It was about community, connections, and standing firm against those who tried to instill fear. This was bigger than chess. This was a movement, and she would lead it today. As she stepped down from the stage, Lily felt a change within her like she had shed an old skin filled with insecurities. Later that night, as she hugged her dad tightly, her heart felt light, and the reflection in his eyes was one of encouragement and pride. Together, they could face anything that came their way, armed with hope and a unified spirit. Lily leaned in closer and whispered, "Do you think we really can change things?" James tightened his embrace, a smile breaking across his face. "Absolutely, sweetheart. We already are. The road ahead might still be filled with challenges, but now they felt ready to take it on hand in hand, fueled by their bond and strength. They had no time to waste. It was time to face whatever challenges awaited them. And amidst the warmth in the room, the message was clear. Change was knocking at the door, and they would greet it with open arms. You need to subscribe now to join us on this journey, to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help others find their inspiration. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending. Let us hear your voice. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait, not even one more second to pass on hope and strength.